Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Judy, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, hi, hello, it's me, Zach, and we are back officially for the first episode of Season 3 of the 1,000 Pound Sisters on TLC. I even have my little Diet Soda earrings, and I don't always remember to put the Diet Soda earrings on for the 1,000 Pound Sisters content, but I did today. I did today, just for you. Just for you at home. I got the Diet Soda earrings in. But yes, we are back, and I just know based on the trailer that I already reacted to that this is going to be a great season, and honestly, episode 1 didn't really let me down. Really, I was very pleased with episode 1. I had a lot of fun. But before we get too far into this recap, I do just want to give a special thanks to today's sponsor, which is adamandeve.com. If you go to adamandeve.com, you're going to find all kinds of things that might be helpful in your intimate life, your adult 18 plus life, things that might be helpful for you and a partner, for you by yourself, for you and a friend, for a friend and a friend, for whoever, whatever. If you don't really feel super comfy about this, just know that it's natural, it's normal. Everybody likes to have some fun, and adamandeve.com is here to help you. And if you use my code, Zachary, you will get 50% off of one item plus free shipping in Canada and the US, although some exclusions do apply. The holidays are coming up, and what better gift to give than something from adamandeve.com? You know what I'm saying? Give a gift to yourself, to a friend, to a partner, to a loved one. Give them the gift that keeps on giving, okay? Alright. They have 24/7 customer service, so if you have any questions about a product, they can help you out. They have a 90-day no-hassle return policy, and they give 20% of their profits to go towards the research of HIV and AIDS around the world. So I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. We love to see it. So once again, please make sure to go use code Zachary for 50% off one item and free shipping to US and Canada. Some exclusions apply at adamandeve.com. Now let's get into the recap, shall we? I will say they open up with Amy, Michael, and Gage just having a cute little family moment, but I can't not talk about this joke that Amy makes at the very beginning of the show. It's like literally the first thing that she says.
You're starting too young. Yeah. Mr. Boogie Boo. You know, that's funny too, like, there's ass men, there's leg men, there's something, but they all start out as ass men.
Now, I'm all for a funny joke, but it just really makes me think about how people think that, like, the gays and the LGBT are, like, sexualizing children, and, like, we literally have straight people out here making jokes about children being a boob person, having a preference for boobs. And like, I get the joke, I get it. But I was just like, this is a lot to start off the whole season on, but okay. And Amy also lets us know that she has lost 40 pounds since she had Gage. Although, I don't know, like sometimes I'm not sure if I see that, but I feel like I also have just seen so many different photos of Amy at different points that I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what that all looks like. But she's lost 40 pounds and she is down to like 260 pounds. But as you'll see in this episode, she does still want to keep working and get down to a lower weight and stay healthy because she wants to be around as a mom for Gage for a long time. And then Amy films, and this is a reoccurring theme, okay? This is a reoccurring theme that TLC has Amy and Tammy film these fake videos that they never actually post, or never post, obviously, while they're actually filming them. Sometimes they'll post them after the episode is aired, but TLC has Amy film this video, this little fake vlog, and honestly, TLC has a lot of kahuntas.
Big kahuntas. Does that mean balls?
For thinking we wouldn't know. And it's also funny because in this clip, Amy claims that she tells her subscribers and her fans everything, but obviously she doesn't because she didn't post this video. And it's a video about Tammy deciding to go into a rehab facility And we obviously didn't hear about this at the time because at the time, Tammy was out here making claims that she wasn't in any kind of nursing home facility or rehab facility. But also that's probably because TLC said like, hey, don't spoil the show. We need to have a big season 1 or season 3 opener. And season 3's opener is going to be about Tammy going to rehab. And that's really what a good chunk of the video of the episode is about. So then they have Tammy come in and sit down and do a confessional where she talks about getting her life together.
Bitch, get yourself together.
And we find out that Chris is going to be the one who's going to take Tammy to the bariatric facility for treatment. Amy says like she won't miss Tammy but Gage will, which I thought was a really cute moment. And I just think it's a cute moment because one is like, it's cute seeing Gage just laid out on top of Tammy. But I do think it's also nice that they are trying to show some moments where Tammy like enjoys Gage, because it's clear that one thing that Tammy was frustrated with in season 2 is that people thought that she was like jealous of Gage or upset over Gage. And I think it's probably complicated. Like, there probably is some frustrations from Tammy that, like, Gage gets more attention from Amy than she gets attention from Amy. But I also think that she genuinely doesn't hate her nephew. Like, that, I think that that's silly. And I think in this episode we get quite a few moments where it's clear that Tammy does enjoy being around her nephew and does enjoy being in his life. And at about 6 minutes into the episode, we get our first fart joke of the season.
Early fart. And we gotta be free time. Why whistle while you work? Will she be farting while she working?
Wow, we just love a fart joke. And if you're concerned that there's not going to be enough fart jokes, we get 2 more in this episode. There are 3 different fart jokes in this entire episode. So get ready, because you know I'm about to include them all. In all honesty, I'm thrilled for both Tammy and Amy. Like, I think that, especially in my, like, little quarter of the internet, so often people say, like, the only thing that's going to help you is if you go into some kind of treatment center facility that's going to be able to help you. And it's clear that where Tammy's at, that's, like, what kind of help she needs. Like, she's saying it, her family's saying it. I'm glad she was able to find something, because at the end of season 2 they made it sound like Tammy was looking but couldn't find anything, like no place would take her, so I'm glad they found somewhere. And for Amy and Michael, for that matter, I'm glad that they're both gonna get some time to just focus on being newborn parents without having to worry about it, no matter how long this little stay lasts, which, spoiler alert, it's not long. But I'm so glad they're going to get the time to just, like, spend with Gage, be parents, and not have to worry about their adult sister. So the next scene is Chris coming to pick up Tammy to take her to the facility. And this is where we find out that Jerry has left her. Now, I say we find it out, but, like, if you follow my channel, we've known for a while that Jerry was out of the picture. In fact, we know that the BBW King, who has been shown in the trailer, has come into Tammy's life. But we find out that Jerry did, in fact, leave Tammy, not the other way around. And Jerry left because, well, according to Tammy, Jerry left because he didn't want the things that Tammy wanted, which was like a promise ring or an engagement ring, marriage, whoever, whatever. And Chris honestly has a conversation with Tammy where he speaks a lot of truth about their relationship, the relationship that Tammy had with Jerry, and that Jerry really, according to Chris, fetishized Tammy as opposed to just, like, loving her for who she is. And I think that that's always, like, a difficult conversation to have with people on the internet. I do think there's a difference between finding plus-size women attractive and fetishizing them. Because when you find them attractive, you also appreciate other things about who they are. Whereas if you're fetishizing them, the whole point is that you just enjoy them being very large, and that's, like, the only thing you like about them. And honestly, a little bit later in the episode, Amy does actually call Jerry a feeder, which, if you don't know what a feeder is, this is how Amy explained it.
A feeder is somebody who will feed you until you're so big, your body basically gives out on you. Gluttony is very attracted to them. You can stuff piles and piles of food in your mouth, and that turns them on more and more.
And I was honestly kind of surprised to hear Amy use that language and that was like a conversation we were going to have on TLC. Maybe I shouldn't be that surprised, let's be honest. I was just like, damn, okay, we're going there. Like we're calling Jerry a feeder. And another part that was just like a little too much for me, but just enough, like just exactly what I needed, was Tammy talking about having a weak moment with Jerry right before she went to the rehab facility.
I didn't want him back, I just wanted to...
And Amy's reaction, her face, was the same as mine. I was like, okay, damn, girl. You said, I don't want to, I just want that dick. Like, what? We also find out that the goal for Tammy is that she loses 100 pounds while she's at the facility. And we find out during this episode if she meets that goal, so just stay tuned. And when they finally arrive at the facility, Chris mentions that Tammy is a little bit hard to deal with and has been in nursing homes and facilities like this in the past and was maybe a little difficult to work with, which I do think is interesting because at the time that people were speculating that Tammy was in a rehab facility, they also speculated that she had gotten into some kind of altercation with a nurse, to the extent that Tammy posted on her Instagram a little like public announcement that she never did anything like that.
Seriously, y'all need to stop believing everything you hear and see online. I would never in 1,000 years hit or kick or bite or throw something at a nurse.
So nothing like that was ever shown on the episode. They never showed if that happened. But I do think it's interesting that Chris said that and that people, while this all was happening in real time, had speculated that something like that happened. So they give us a bunch of small clips of Tammy's time in rehab, and I think I'll just talk about them all at once, even though chronologically in the episode it didn't really happen that way, just because it was just like a ton of small clips of her in the rehab facility, which is probably because they couldn't film a whole bunch of her in there. I'm sure like other patients in the facility didn't want to be on camera. But she of course does a little fake vlog situation type of deal as well, where she says she does enjoy being in the facility, but she doesn't like the food because it's all bland and the portions are really small. They also show various clips of her working out throughout these little montages, which I'm glad to see her doing. It's good to see her like up and active, but she does talk a lot about struggling, whether it's like pain in her knees, feeling winded, whoever, whatever. And then she finally says that she's really happy to be like working on herself because she's single and she doesn't have to worry about her being in a relationship and she can just focus on herself, which really truly has me worried because we know the BBW King is on his way. While Tammy is in the rehab facility, we do get a little fun clip of Amy going to work out with some Fit for Moms or something. I think that's the name of the group that she was going to work with. And honestly, it cracks me up that Amy describes these people as fancy.
Man, these are like some fancy people. They look like they go drink rosé.
Like, I don't know. For me, it's just funny that she thinks like her mind fancy is a bunch of mostly white suburban moms drinking rosé. Like I love that that's her definition of fancy. And in all honesty, she does really look out of place with these women. Like, she does not look like she fits in. Because of this little clip segment, we get our second fart joke of the episode.
Since I've lost so much weight, I'm starting to get excess skin, and it does make it harder for walking. And I want to get the skin removal surgery. Sometimes it looks like I have a crack right here, like a butt crack. So I got 2 buttholes. That means I get twice the farts.
And it's just like, wow. Who knew we would be talking about Amy Slayton have 2 buttholes? Who knew we'd be talking about Amy Slayton having 2 buttholes? I also did giggle a little bit when Amy was doing lunges. Just because, not because like, listen, everybody's fitness level is different, but just because of my own struggles with doing lunges, it's one of my least favorite things to do when I'm working out. And I was just like, I'm gonna take her approach in the future. I feel like my trainer would really be okay with an Amy Slayton version of a lunge in the workout room. So eventually we end up cutting ahead to Tammy having been in the facility for 6 weeks, although we don't really see her when they jump ahead. They just have like kind of the narration of this episode has been check-ins to let us know how long Tammy's been in the facility. At this point, we get to see Chris meeting up with Amy because Amy hasn't really seen him since he took Tammy to the facility, and we find out that he has had some health issues, and because of those health issues, he's gained some of his weight back. I think he said something like 40 pounds. And in fact, they talk about what happened. He had surgery to remove a boil next to his manhood that was the size of a cantaloupe. And that left him bedridden for a while. Like, he couldn't really move around a whole lot, and that's kind of why he gained weight. They also actually show a photo of, like, the wound that was on his leg, which I'm not about to put you all through that, but spoiler alert, trigger warning, if you do watch the episode, it's there. For what it's worth, though, Amy does say that it looks like a cooter. So I'm gonna leave you with that. If you didn't actually watch it, you can just like maybe try to imagine based off Amy's description what it looked like. So yeah, that kind of sets up Chris's storyline for the season, which is, will he be able to get bariatric surgery? Will he be able to lose the weight again? Although they do in the trailer show him getting surgery. So like, I don't know if they intended to just spoil everything through the trailer, but like he does get some kind of surgery at some point during the season. So we finally get to the point where Tammy's been in rehab for 8 weeks and she's able to move around a bit more. She's able to walk a bit more. They do a weigh-in and they show that she's lost about 60 pounds, which I think is impressive. It's clear that they are good at their jobs and they know what they're doing and they're helping her out and they're getting her up and they're monitoring her food. So I think that that's like great, and I love to see that for her. It's clear that they were being so helpful for her, that it was working for her. So of course she has to let us all down by deciding that she wants to go home, despite not meeting the 100-pound weight loss goal that Dr. Smith set for her while being there. She mentions that a lot of it's because she misses her home, she misses her family, she misses her things, her bed. And I don't know, we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute, because I have a lot of questions of like if that's really the reason she wanted to go home. But she does talk to an administrator from the facility about wanting to go home, and she claims she knows what she needs to do. But she also says this.
I mean, if I was to order out, it'd be like one burger and not anything else.
You feel like when you go home, you think start to order out again? So you're not gonna...
I just get one burger a day.
Which is like curious that you're already talking about wanting to order a burger a day. A burger a day. Listen, I don't personally for myself believe that like you have to deprive yourself from everything you love forever. At least that's what works for me. But like, I know I can't eat a takeout burger once a day. I just like know that that's like not gonna work out for me. So ultimately, like, Kelly, the administrator, is like, listen, girl, I don't think you're ready. I don't think you're ready. But Tammy, you know Tammy, she's hard-headed. So she's like, no, we're gonna go. I'm going. I'm peacing out. And the next scene is actually her FaceTiming with Chris, Amy, and her sister Misty. Misty did show up in season 2 occasionally, and is clearly back now for season 3. And she's gonna meet with them to tell them about her decision. But before that, we got lots of great clips of Lil Bit in this episode, but this is my favorite. This is the Little Bit shot of the week. Because Lil Bit is just so cute. Just so cute. Just look at her. But yeah, Tammy tells her siblings that she wants to go home. Amy pushes back because Amy's not dumb. Amy knows that the facility probably doesn't think she's ready. And when Tammy's trying to defend herself, Chris just lays it all out.
That is total bull.
It's clear that all of Tammy's siblings are annoyed because they know that she's not probably going to do the work on her own, and they know that they're probably going to have to do all the shit that they were already doing beforehand, because they realize like she went there with the goal of losing 100 pounds and she didn't do that. So what's really to say that she's going to come back and do it on her own without a facility with a whole staff to take care of her? And Tammy just keeps saying like that she wants them to just have a little faith in her, but honestly, you gotta earn that. And at this point, you have done nothing to demonstrate that they should have faith. I mean, I'm just being honest with you, Tammy girl. You know I love you, girl, but literally, what have you done for them to have faith in you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you should probably balance that and say, like, I want you to have faith in me, and here are the things that I'm gonna do to show you that you should. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying that they shouldn't have faith in her, but like she also has to do something to demonstrate that their faith won't be wasted. So Chris ends up heading to go pick up Tammy and says he's gonna try to convince her to stay, which like I feel like after they said this was like 8 hours away from where they live, I feel like I would not waste 8 hours of my time driving all the way to pick her up if the end goal wasn't to bring her home. So I don't know what this is about trying to convince her to stay after you've already driven 8 hours to do it. I mean, that's also kind of the wild thing for me when it comes to all of the siblings. Like, it's clear that they really just care about her, and that's why they keep giving her chance after chance after chance. But at some point, you could just leave her there. What is she gonna do? I know Chris said he was worried about her getting kicked out or things like that, but like, what is she gonna do? If she gets kicked out, then what? Don't pick her up still. Don't pick her up still. I don't know. I just think that in a lot of ways, and not that it's their fault, but like that they certainly like enable some of this behavior sometime. You know what I'm saying? And of course, on the way home, we get our third fart joke in one episode.
You ready for this long ride back, Tammy?
Yes. You stink.
All I know is that heat feels wonderful.
It don't smell wonderful.
I just like am so obsessed that this family has found a way to build their entire brand on fart jokes. Like, I just genuinely, truly, like, my family growing up probably could have done this too, but they didn't. They weren't smart enough to capitalize on that. So Tammy arrives back, and the way she greets her family, like literally, Amy, Michael, Gage, Lil Bit, they're all out on the front porch, and the way she greets them is not great. And Amy does note that they don't show a lot of emotion, which I feel that, like, they've talked about that a lot throughout the series, that like neither of them really grew up talking about their feelings and emotions. So I get that, but Amy does point out, like, I didn't expect Tammy to bite off my head, and I think that's true, and I think, to me, that's what makes it so interesting, that so much of Tammy's reasoning for wanting to leave the facility is that she missed her home and her family and this, that, the other, but then it's like, you're not even excited to see them, which I guess you could say, like, it was an 8-hour trip, so, you know, maybe she's just very tired from a long trip. But, like, I can say that I've gone on long trips and still been happy to return, to see my dogs, to see my partner, to see my bed, to see all of those things, and, like, still express kindness to people. So it does make me wonder, like, what was your true goal for getting out of the facility? You know what I'm saying? And honestly, there was a clip where Lil Bit ran up to her where she looked way more excited to see Lil Bit than she did anybody else. But, you know, Amy being Amy, she decorated Tammy's apartment to welcome her back, and I thought that was really cute, really sweet that Amy went through all of that work to do that for her. And I will say that once Tammy was inside, she did look much happier to see Gage, just to be honest. And again, I really appreciate that the show is not making it out to be that Tammy just hates her nephew, because so many people really felt like Tammy had something against her, like, literal newborn child nephew. Amy and Chris also got Tammy a table with a little cooktop moment for Tammy, and she was not appreciative of it at all. She said, "What, am I camping?" And it's like, really, Tammy, you can't just be grateful that your sibling said, "Listen, we know that you struggle to cook in your current circumstances, so we're gonna find a way to help you cook another way," and you can't even be like, "Great, thank you." Also, like, who gets a gift and is just shitty about it anyways? Like, even when you get a gift that's like not your fave, like, it's still the idea that somebody gave you a gift, somebody was thinking about you, and it's so rude to just be like, send it back. But yeah, Chris and Amy say that they're going to establish all of these rules for holding her accountable, and Tammy is just like not having it. So things are off to a great start with Tammy doing it on her own from home. And speaking of which, like, Tammy says that she wants to do all of this stuff on her own, but then the very next scene we get is Amy talking about having to take care of Tammy again. So yeah, in Tammy's world of I'm gonna do it all on my own, she's still making Amy provide food and also making Amy get all of her prescriptions in order. So we see Amy going about trying to get all these prescriptions filled and whatever. And to be fair, Tammy gets some anxiety related to those things. I think I could relate to getting anxiety about like stupid things like picking up the phone to call and fill a prescription. I get it. I still do it, but I get it. While Amy's doing all of that, Tammy's outside filming a YouTube video with her niece Emily. And to be honest, this was one that she accidentally posted. I don't know who did it, but one of either Tammy or the TLC producers that have access to Tammy's YouTube account accidentally posted this way back in like either late May, early June. I posted a reaction to it on like June 3rd, but that doesn't mean that she posted it in June. She could have posted it in May. Either way, I already reacted to this, so I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go check out my reactions to this. And honestly, it's literally just straight up a whole entire clip from the show, like what she uploaded. So if you want to see my reaction to that, I did film a reaction. You can go check that out. I don't have too much more to say about it. What really is more exciting is that after it looks like they're done filming, that could have just been the magic of editing. It looked like Tammy and Emily were done filming, and then Amy came out and started asking Tammy to talk to the person on the phone about her medical history, and Tammy loses it. Tammy just absolutely loses it. And a lot of people think I'm a Tammy apologist because when she shows these sides of herself, like, I'm capable of looking at Tammy as a whole picture, okay, and seeing that, like, she's had a troubled life. Nobody's ever taught her how to handle her emotions, deal with her emotions, and it's clear that she doesn't know how to treat the people around her. I don't think that I ever try to excuse those things, because let's be honest, like, her behavior at the end of this episode is totally unacceptable. Like, totally unacceptable, and I'm not here to make apologies for that. Like, I was actually just so shocked by the way she treated Amy. I mean, I guess I shouldn't. We're on season 3 of this now. But I was just like, girl, you just got done talking about how much you missed your family, how much you wanted to come home, how much you wanted to do this, that, the other, and how you're going to do all this stuff on your own. And then you get mad at your sister who's just trying to help you? Like, no. No, you come across as real ungrateful here, and that just is what it is. Amy really is like, listen, you've gone too far, I'm done. And then they show us this clip of them trying to film a confessional. This part was actually also in the trailer. Tammy is just like repeatedly calling Amy stupid, which, like, honestly, Tammy doesn't have any room to be calling anybody stupid. Just like facts, okay? And she just keeps calling Amy stupid, even, and I think it did start as like maybe a little bit of a joke on Tammy's end, but like it was clearly agitating Amy, and Amy asked her to stop, and she just kept doing it. And Amy leaves. She just walks straight out. And it's so weird because, like, I don't know if it's just, again, like Tammy not knowing how to express her feelings, but she just seems so unbothered by the fact that, like, she just upset her sister. And I think that this is the part where, like, Tammy loses people, right? Because I think a lot of people can probably relate to getting into a disagreement or an argument with their sibling, but so often when you do, you usually feel some type of way. You usually have some emotion about it. Like, you're angry, you're upset, you feel bad that you hurt your siblings' feelings, and, like, Tammy just doesn't have any of that. And I think that that's where she loses people that watch the show. Because she doesn't want to share her emotions, people can't get to the human side of Tammy. Because the only way she shows her emotions is when she's lashing out at her siblings, and she doesn't show the emotions that are, like, that lead up to that. She doesn't share the emotions that lead up to her anger. And so I think it leaves a lot of people thinking she's just an angry person. And maybe she is, but I do think, based on, like, the few times that she has shared about her family history, her just, like, experiences growing up and things like that, like, I do think that there's a human in there. She just, like, shows all the worst parts of it. That was episode 1. A good chunk of it focused on Tammy being in rehab. But, you know, I think we still got all of the things that we've grown to love in the first 2 seasons. We got fart jokes. We got fighting. We got some people being successful at weight loss. Some people not being successful at weight loss. We got silly little workout moments. I think we're in for a good season. I'm a little bit nervous. Because, I mean, we've seen what Tammy's been up to on the internet. We know what's coming. And I just, like, don't think that, you know, she really can do it on her own like she says. But I guess we'll find out. I just want to say, once again, thank you to adamandeve.com for sponsoring this video. And I want to thank you for hanging out, showing up. I have a whole playlist of Slate and Sister content. Every single recap I've done of every episode. Plus even more, I've reviewed them and reacted to them and talked about them on YouTube since before they ever had a TLC show. So go check out that playlist. I'll leave it in the description box as well. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be covering every episode every week until the season's over. So come join me here once a week at a minimum, but also check out some of my other content as well because I do way more than just the Slate and Sisters. I had so much fun today. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell button so you get notifications, leave a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all of my social media. Bye!